being replaced by robots. Robots are going to be programmed. They're going to get smarter using artificial intelligence and programming robots to resemble and to look and sound more human. That's our next challenge. The next challenge is how the pervasiveness of artificial intelligence is it going to replace the pervasiveness and authenticity of the knowledge of Jesus Christ? Is it going to impact your faith? I know this is not a usual Sunday morning message. I know this is not a usual thing, but as we approach the next decade, it seems to me that we better start storing up, as the scriptures say, treasures for ourselves in heaven. We better get a lock on, what do I believe? What is it that I believe? What is it that I need to know? What is it that I should be doing? We better get that right, because the next decade, most activities are going to be replaced by robots. You're going to walk into the bank and walk into stores, and it's going to be robotized. You know how they're holding up banks all over, at least in this part of the country. They're holding up banks like almost every other day. Banks are going to close, but what they're going to do, they still want to collect the money and still have a customer experience. A lot of those functions are going to be robotized. You're going to go to your favorite big box store and you're going to interact with a robot. You walk in, you plug in what you want, and a robot is going to come right up to you. You're going to go to the gas station, and some of us, our routine calls for going to the gas station, pumping gas and getting coffee in the mornings. It's going to be a robot that delivers that. How is that going to impact your faith? Are you going to believe in the power of artificial intelligence, or are you going to still have a belief no matter what happens? Chaos could happen in the next decade. What if something happens in the next decade? Something falls from the sky, a meteor falls from the sky. What if something other earth-shaking event happens? Are you still going to have your faith? If anything the 2010s has taught us is we got to authentically believe or not. What if something happens? That's what happened to us in 2010s. Our favorite preachers, our favorite thought leaders, they had their struggles that we never were privy to. When it became exposed, did that affect your faith? Did that stop you from believing? I am saying that there are some things that are going to happen in the next decade that we may not have any control over. It may not be personal. It could be global in its impact. It could be confined regionally. Are you going to stop and believe? Right now, we have wildfires in California. California has been burning for decades now. When it's not fires, they have landslides coming down the pike. They have a serious problem in California. What is going to happen in the next decade? Do you really think that wildfires are going to continue? Eventually, there's not going to be anything left. It's going to be a wasteland. Well, what's going to happen? Are you still going to believe? Are you still going to be able to stand and believe? Right? Are you still going to say, well, God is still the same? If God was there when King James was king, then certainly God can be there now that I am king. Right? It's not the Lion King, some king, right? So now we have to ask ourselves, we've come to this point where, having seen all the chaos and all the change that has taken place in 2010s, in that last decade, we've also seen some good things. I mean, they still broadcast the award shows. Well, you don't even have to watch that anymore. You can go on Instagram and get a live feed, right? But now that you have seen all of that, what are we going to do about the next decade? Are you going to stop believing just because you looked at what happened? Here's the thing. Faith is personal. It's how you experience your faith and belief that matters. The expression of it that comes through you, that is what you believe. I'm not excusing the behavior of some of these folks from the 2010s. But as we move forward, we got to pack it up with experience and say, well, their message might have been true, even though they themselves did not believe in what they were saying. Even though they themselves did not demonstrate the tenets of what they're saying. I am still going to believe because my life story, my situation lined up with what I believe. The next decade is going to call for a deeper knowing because so much is going to change. We see it already societally. We see it already socially. There's going to be more social change that for folks like me is going to destroy everything that you ever believed before. A new generation is coming up where this is normal for them. This is all they're going to believe. And this new generation that is coming up, this is all that this will represent. And for them, it's going to be normal. This is the next generation who are going to say artificial intelligence is just fine for me. This is the generation who are going to say, well, tradition doesn't mean anything if tradition is going to tear down what I believe. We've already seen social change in the form of men becoming women. It's not about being feminized. Men becoming women and women choosing to become men, changing their gender. There's going to be more of that. Is that going to affect what you believe? We're going to see more exponential increase in diseases because our environment is so toxic. At the same time, there are going to be medical breakthroughs. Are you not going to believe? You're going to ask yourself questions, just like I do. I'm like, with all of this technology, we can go to the moon. You mean to tell me people still get sick and you can't cure them? We're still going to ask questions. What if something fatalistic happens to us, humanity, here on planet Earth? Are you not going to believe? It seems to me that we need to lock on to what we believe so that for the next decade, whatever change might come, whatever is going to come, that you still stand firm in what you believe. I say to you today, on this, the first day of the last month of the last decade, that use these next 31 days to ruminate, to plan, and to strategize. Take your family, take yourself, put yourself, if you're a young person, take yourself on plan. Ask yourself, what do I want to achieve in the next decade? What is it that I would like to see for myself? Organize around that. If you have a belief system, find something to believe in. Be authentic about what you do. They're going to build robots, and the robots are going to know that you are you and you are not who you say you are. That's artificial intelligence. It's going to shock us. But make sure that when you look in the mirror, you can say that I am me and what I stand for is what it is. The next decade is going to reveal more about ourselves. It's going to show us who we really are. Are you ready for that? There are going to be some new stuff that they've been working on that they have not told us about. If you think what you have now is mind-blowing, wait until you see what they have been working on for the last 15 years. What we're experiencing now is what has previously existed. They just released it. But what is coming is going to be greater. I say to you, strap on, right? Make sure you strap your seatbelt on and hold tight. Hang on to what you believe. Hang on to your faith in spite of the changes that will come. Hold on to what you believe. Find the authenticity in it. Let yourself stay in the experience of the authenticity so it will hold you and keep you through the changes that will come. I personally experienced change in the last decade that I never imagined. When the 2010s began, I thought my mother would be here forever. It never occurred to me that there would come a time when I wouldn't have a mother. Never occurred to me that my father could die. I mean, they're your parents, so they're, older than you are. But it never thought it would be my experience. But that happened too. That was part of the change of the decade. I had to watch as my children grow up. It took me totally by surprise. I knew they were going to grow up. I just didn't know it would be so fast. The change is going to come. Change has come. We're watching as our bodies, the time is flying so fast, it's not even taking toll on us anymore. We're 50 looking 30. We're 40 looking 20. I'm serious. You meet 40-year-olds now and they're like, gosh, I thought you were 25. People are 70 looking like they just turned 50. The advancing time is advancing, but it's not changing. And that is the key. Don't change who you are. Be authentically you. If nothing else, change. The circumstances around us will change. Everything else is going to change, but be authentically you. I heard somebody say yesterday, I was watching a show, my values, and I'm like, that's such an old-fashioned word. People don't even say that anymore. What are values? You know what is today? Value is your money. How much money do you have? As I like to say, people are big balling on social media. People take selfies. They show you their houses, their cars, my new car, my new ride. I'm on my way to Dubai. Liar, probably on their way to the laundromat. Right? People just big balling and showing off. But are you still authentically you? Some people have made billions of dollars. Some have made millions of dollars. No matter what change comes, would you stay the same? To you, would you still be authentically you? My friends, change is going to come, inevitably. If when we had begun 2010, we had imagined that change would come, I think we would have been in a better place as we end the decade, right? So now that we know that change is going to come, let's hold on and don't change the power of you, the power of your authenticity. Stick with it, stay with it, and make sure that what is in you is powerful, it's authentically you, and hold on, hang on to your faith. This is Harriet Kemick with Down to Earth. Go to my website, harrietkemick.com, as well as go to the ExodusFoundation.com. Help us to be a blessing to those in need. We provide relief services to victims of human trafficking. Help us to make that happen by going to our website, the ExodusFoundation.com. Thank you so much for listening. It's football Sunday. We're all gonna football in just a minute, right? We're all gonna do football. Thank you so much, everybody. Be blessed.